Hey everybody, I'm Mike the Lionheart Ryan. I'm here at Clairemont High School today. It is September 25th, 2011. My reason for being here is October 2nd, 1986, I sustained a serious head injury out here playing high school football. And Dave, why don't you come on over here and we'll go over a little Q&A and try to touch a little bit on head injuries and recreational sports and in general.
Okay, so the first thing we want to do is go ahead and ask some questions here and discuss the school year prior to the accident. Starting position in football, girlfriends, etc. Just explain how things were before the accident.
Well, things were great. The summer prior to the injury, I was in the best shape of my life, getting ready for the new year, exercising, working out like crazy. Earned a starting position. I was an outside linebacker. Played special teams, played a little line, I was a captain, and looking forward to a really good year, football season, and a good school year. Within the first couple weeks of high school starting, we had already had a couple games under our belt. Met a new girlfriend, Gina. It was great. Things were going well, and I was looking forward to a really good year.
So let's talk about what happened as far as what you remember. Try to paint the picture, if you will, of that day.
Well, it was right out here in this football field, and as you can see, the field has changed quite a bit in the last 25 years. They had just redid it. But it happened down over on the 20-yard line. I guess we were starting out, we were kicking off. It was fourth quarter. There was only a few minutes left of the game. We were on top. We had just scored, and we were kicking off, and I was on the far side of the field, and came down, running down to go after the ball carrier or to throw a block on a man. And when I got down to the individual that I was going to be throwing a hit on, he came down, squat position. As soon as I got to him, he launched his head under my chin, and I knew right then when I got hit from the pain, something was wrong. And so ran off the field, after stumbling back about 5 yards or so. Ran off the field, and my head was just about to explode. It was pounding. So, running around the sidelines, I told the coach, hey, I can't go out. My head's killing me, yada, yada. Just a lot of pain. So, they had me relax off to the side. And, I started realizing that something wasn't right. They thought it was a concussion at first, but it turned out to be a lot more than that, obviously. I started losing feeling in
Left side of your leg.
Yeah, left side of the leg started going numb. I started walking around, hitting the leg, trying to get it to wake back up. And once I started telling the coaches, hey, something's wrong with my leg, I can't feel it. That's when you could see the expression on their faces change, because at first they thought, well, maybe it was a concussion, and then when I started losing feeling, they're like, oh, this is more than a concussion. So they sat me down, started losing, the whole left side of my body. They kept moving me around, and they finally got an ambulance there, and, they got me strapped to the gurney, put me in. I told Coach before I went in, I said, hey, can I have my jersey, which is what I'm wearing right now, and threw it in the, in the ambulance, and, rushed me to Scripps Memorial over in La Jolla, and did a CAT scan, realized I had a hemorrhage. Was having a subdural hematoma, and took me right in the surgery. But before I went in, you and my mom came down. I remember that.
It's all right.
That's harder than I thought. So evidently they took me in to surgery, and it was about 6 hours. About 6 hour surgery, and I got through it, but it was a.
I got to add that that was probably one of the longest 6 hours of my life. Seemed like days. was pretty rough.
Well, like I said, if I didn't introduce him before, this is David Williams. Known him for, how long now, about 32 years and some change. Been a long time. We've been through a lot together. So this injury was something else, I'll tell you what. What else you got there for me?
Well, basically I got another of what you remember about the hospital during recovery.
Well, you know, I remember after the surgery, and I know from afterwards, after the whole thing was over with, that surgery was life or death. You know, it was pretty major. They kept coming out and telling my mom, you know, we don't think he's going to make it. You know, he's got a real slim chance. But you know, the doctor did what he did best, and you know, he saved me. And I remember after the surgery, I was sick for a long time, and I had been in and out of different rooms, which meant that I had been in and out of surgery. You know, for my head and going in and out. And I mean, I'd wake up one moment, I'm in a room, next moment I'm out. And so for the most part, I remember seeing people come and visit me. I remember being really sick. I remember being in a lot of pain. You know, it was tough because I never knew where I was at. You know, I was in ICU for probably at least 3 weeks, for most of the month of October, until they finally moved me up into a room where I was starting to get better. But there was some serious issues going on. I mean, I could touch more on some of the surgeries and what had happened. I mean, I've probably had about a half a dozen on my head, including a shunt. A shunt is what drains spinal fluid for people who have had head injuries. And they actually had to remove the shunt because they anchored the tube into my belly, and evidently it caused an infection.
Now, did they explain to you why the location, why they did that, as opposed to just draining into like a bag or something outside of your body? What the reasoning for putting it into your stomach was?
Well, I think it was typical protocol for that. I guess your body just digests it and passes it. You know, I think they've done that forever, and I've never really asked the doctors why they went about that procedure. Well, when the fluid infected my stomach, they had to go in and do abdominal surgery to get the infection out, and they had to go back in to remove the permanent shunt. And what they did was they put a temporary one on the side of my head over here. I have a little scar on this side where they had a temporary shunt, and they had that there for a little bit, and they took a chance and clamped it off to see how I would do for a few days, and if I wasn't experiencing any headaches, they can remove it. And I wasn't going to have a shunt in my head at all, which was great for me because I didn't want to have any of that stuff in me. So they ended up taking the temporary shunt out, closed up the wound, and I was good to go. You know, and I had all kinds of stuff in me. You remember, I had all the IVs. I had the trach. And the trach, the reason I got the tracheotomy was the fact that the medication they were giving me was really potent, and it paralyzed my vocal cords. And I don't even remember any of that stuff. My mom had said that I ended up being on a respirator for a while until they could figure out what was going on. So then they did the tracheotomy, and that was, out of all the stuff that I've been through in that hospital, that was the thing that irritated me the most because of the fact that I couldn't talk. And you know me longer than anybody. You know,
This was quite possibly one of the first times we got him to shut up for any length of time.
So, you know, I mean, having that trach was tough, you know, but you know, it had to be done. And eventually, they were able to take it out, and I was good to go. But I will say, I think I've had about, at Scripps, in the month of October in '86, I think I had about 11 surgeries, and from head to belly. So, you know, actually, you know, I take that back, because I had 9 surgeries, and then after I got out of the hospital a few months later, after recovering and going back to school, and I know I'm kind of getting off point a little bit.
Well, let's talk about, since it's going into that anyways, let's talk about how long it was before you were actually able to return back to school from that first time.
Well, I spent a month in Scripps, and then I went to Sharp Memorial Rehab Facility for another month. So through the month of November, I did my rehab. You know, I was determined to get out of that hospital, so I set goals for myself and achieved them pretty quickly. Doctors were pretty surprised that I got through it as fast as I did. Went to Sharp Memorial for rehab. I was there for a month. By the end of November, I was out of the hospital and at home, and working with a tutor. I had a tutor while I was in the hospital during rehab, getting me ready, getting me set up for school. And I believe it was January is when I fully came back to school. I don't remember if I was there part-time, like did half and half, it's been so long. But I do remember returning to school, and I do remember having half days. So I had a tutor, she got me back to school, and you know, I was on my way.
So how did the accident affect you?
Well, definitely made me realize that life is precious, and not to take it for granted. It made me realize that I wasn't invincible. And at 15 years old, you're in the prime of your life. You're thinking, nothing can hurt you. But let me tell you firsthand, I did get hurt, and I got hurt pretty bad. So, you're not invincible. But you know what? If I can do it over again, I'd be out here on this field playing. So, hey.
Let's back up a little bit, because you had mentioned that you came back for a little while and then you had to go back out. Something happened to you again after that. You're on the road to recovery. Everybody thought you were doing well. You thought you were doing well, and then something happened. Let's talk about that.
Well, again, I'm back at school at Hoover High School, and I'm recovering. I'm feeling good. Got my weight back on, get my strength back. And one night, I'm sitting there. I had something to eat, and all of a sudden, I get this really bad pain in my gut, in my stomach, and it was agonizing. I was real sick. I had been vomiting all night long, and my mom rushed me to the doctor, and he sent me immediately to an emergency down at Mercy Hospital, and found out that I had scar tissue, and scar tissue was wrapping around my intestine and causing the blockage, causing problems. And the doctor went in there, ended up having 2 stomach surgeries, abdominal surgeries, to take care of the problem. The first time they went in there, they thought they took care of it, and they realized that they didn't get it all done. So they went in there and they had to remove a section of intestine and take it all out. There was scar tissue bands that were wrapping around the gut, and they had to clear all that out.
How was that forming? If the injury was in your head, how did you wind up getting scar tissue down in your stomach?
Well, remember when I had the surgery, when I had the shunt. I had the shunt, and it affected my stomach. I had the first abdominal surgery at Scripps from the complication of the shunt, which resulted in 2 more abdominal surgeries later on as a result of scar tissue. So, from October to February, which is actually February of '87 on Valentine's Day, I ended up having a total of 11 surgeries with drainage tubes, everything from head to belly. I had about 11 surgeries. So by '87.
So the ending result of your head injury, did they wind up putting something in? Was there any prolonged damage overall that changed your overall, I guess, structure of your head?
Well, when I had the injury, they had to take out a piece of skull to release the pressure, which is common for when you're having a hemorrhage. They have to go in there and they remove some bone to let the swelling, commence. And so I ended up having a soft spot back there because I was missing a piece of the skull back there from the surgery, and I elected to have last surgery done, and it was in '89, the following Monday after we graduated high school. So, after graduation, I left Hoover, and I said, I got to have this done. I can't live with this spot not being corrected, and it was too much of a risk for me, I thought. And the doctors thought that I can live with it because you have a lot of muscle back there, but I'm like, I just can't do that. So I elected to have the final surgery, which pretty much was the end of all surgeries, and I went in. They took a couple hours for them to put a plate in, and in a few days I was recovered. I was back in the gym about a week or 2 later.
So moving back to the initial injury, between the first initial injury and your final surgery, obviously there was a lot of time for recovery,
right,
and a lot of issues that have come up that kind of makes you reflect. You seem to have, you had some family and friends around you.
Right.
Let's talk about how it affected them and how it was also how they were able to assist you in your recovery and how it affected you.
Man, you know, let me tell you, having the great friends and family that I have, yeah, I don't think I could have survived. I really don't think I could have survived the way I did or had the goal set that I did had I not had them around me. The motivation, it's everything. To have people there supporting you, realizing that you're in bad shape and that you have that family support and that friend support there to root you on and motivate you was everything I needed. I mean, I wanted to get out of that hospital and get back to school and get back to life, you know, and live my life the way I wanted to live it. Although I knew I wasn't going to ever play football again. And that was the thing that I think one of the things that hurt me the most mentally, emotionally, was the fact that I was never going to play in college. You know, I was never going to play professional. You know, my dreams ended that day, October 2nd, 1986, on this football field right here. And but you know what? I made new goals, new dreams, and my friends and family are a huge part of that. And you know, without that support, you know, when you have an injury like that, you go through a really serious bout of depression for a while, and having people around you really to keep your spirits up was huge for me, and it could be huge for anybody. I mean, it was huge. I mean, I'm gonna repeat myself over and over, but I can't emphasize how important it really is with words.
So between the injury and today, it's been 25 years. How's it affected you during that time? You know, what kind of new goals have you had that has enabled you to better yourself mentally so you're not as depressed as you are or you were afterwards?
Well, you know, when I graduated high school, I got seriously into bodybuilding. I was working out a lot, and I had been working out since I wasn't playing football anymore. I'd been working out a lot in high school, and after high school, I got in a lot of working out, and that kind of boosted my confidence. You know, I was looking great. I was feeling good. I had to do something. I had to have another outlet, and if I wasn't going to be playing sports, I had to have another outlet to get by on. And the working out was great. It was a good motivational tool. And then a few years later, I decided that the weightlifting was getting kind of boring after a while, and I wanted to do something different. So I got into martial arts. I signed up with the American Taekwondo Association, and I studied with them for about 3.5 to 4 years. I earned my black belt within the first year and 9 months that I was training. That was huge for me because people with brain injuries tend to have a hard time concentrating and remembering stuff, and that was a challenge for me because there was a lot of moves, as you well know, because you trained with AT as well. The forms, the movements, all the things we had to study and learn. That was big for me. That was a huge accomplishment to get it done within before 2 years, and I'm talking I was training every day. So that was big for me. But before that, one of the things that helped me with my goals was my wife. Right now, we met when we were 20, and that was the icing on the cake right there. The icing on the cake. Meeting her. We've been together 20 years. We've got 2 great kids. We've got a great life. You know, that right there is you know, if you're gonna have a fairy tale ending to a story, right there. I mean, there's still a lot of time left. You know, right there is everything. The martial arts was great. The bodybuilding was great. You know, the accomplishments I've done outside of my marriage were great. But my biggest accomplishment ever was me getting married and having a family. I never thought that I would do that, you know, but it happened. So I set goals and I accomplished them, and I'm pretty proud about that.
So what's the reason for your video? It's been 25 years. Some people would say, you know, hey, it's 25 years, it was a lifetime ago. But obviously for you, since it affected you, it's very personal. So why the video, why now, and what do you want to get out of it?
Well, my goal is to, you know, reach some of the kids that are out there striving to, you know, play contact sports and, you know, are living their dreams. You know, but be aware that injuries can happen. It happened to me, but it's not the end of the world. I'm living a very good life right now. You know, football ended a long time ago for me, but it wasn't the end of the world. I'm still doing everything I wanted to do. I mean, heck, I took martial arts for almost 4 years, and people are trying to kick you in the head in martial arts. And I was able to take that, I took that risk and knowing that, and you know, I was fine. but I wanted to live my life, and I did, and I'm still living it. It's just a message I want to put out that, no matter what happens, as long as you're breathing and you got people around you to support you, you can do anything you want to do. There's no holding back. There's no challenge you can't conquer if you put your mind to it. And that's basically what this video is about, to share my story. Hopefully it's a motivator tool for somebody else out there who's been injured, regardless if it was a recreational injury, a sports injury, an auto accident, whatever your injury. If my story can touch a few people out there and help them get motivated to get back on track to living their life and achieving their goals, then it's a win. It's a win all around. So I'd be very happy about that.
And this is all going to be posted here on isurvived.com.
I'm going to post it on isurvived.com. Got the shirt here, logo, the lion logo. The heart of the lion is the phrase I use. It's going to be posted on isurvived.com. It's going to be posted on Facebook. You can look under Michael Ryan, facebook.com. I believe that's what it'd be under. Just look me up. You'll see a lion head on my Facebook page. It'll definitely go on there. I'm probably going to create a fan page here pretty soon for it. I'm also going to post it up on YouTube, so that'll be there. And hey, if you ever have any questions or you want to touch base with somebody out there who's had a head injury, would like to contact me in any way, you can get to me through isurvived.com, or you can go to lionryan@hotmail.com, which is my direct email. You can contact me through there, and we can discuss it. I've met many people through this ordeal that have had certain similar injuries, and I'm working on a mentoringship program right now as we speak. I'm actually working with an individual that's starting up a program locally here in San Diego. We don't have anything started yet, so I will address that later with the contact information when we get that started. But those are my goals, and hoping maybe I can reach out to some people out there that have been injured, and hopefully my story will motivate them to live their dreams and live their lives the way they want to live them.
Thanks for the interview.
Great.
Thanks for letting me know.
Thanks, David. All right. We'll see you guys. Talk to you real soon. Thanks a lot for watching.